Raise your hand if you can see that. Brilliant. All right. Now, quickly, let's talk about lifestyle. Now, what is lifestyle? Lifestyle is the way in which a person lives. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's how you live your life. You know, we talk a lot about how you earn a living, and the emphasis there is on the earning, but it's not so much on the living. Now, lifestyle talks about the living part of it. Now that you've earned, now that you've gone to work, now that you've done this, that you've done that, you've earned. How do you live your life as a result? And that's what lifestyle is all about. It's how we choose to live. And the emphasis there is on the choice. Lifestyle is about choice. It's about how do you choose to live your life? How do you choose to spend your time? How do you choose to spend your money? How do you choose to spend, your love even? So lifestyle is all about the choices that you make on a daily basis. It's also about designing your life. A while back, we did a presentation on life by design. And we talked about the wheel of life that Steve just mentioned. And I think it's very important when you're thinking of your life to design the way you want to live your life, to design how you want your life to be before you do anything else. And that speaks about lifestyle. The problem that we get sometimes is that we choose everything else. We choose our careers, we choose our businesses, we choose our jobs, we choose, our friends even, we choose connections, we choose everything before we have chosen lifestyle. And then as a result, at the very end, we find ourselves so compressed in the middle, and our lifestyles ends up paying the heavy penalty, because we don't end up living the life we want, because we found ourselves so encapsulated with all these other things that we've wanted. So it's very important to design your lifestyle first, so that when you're actually going to pursue your dreams, you already have that base, your lifestyle that is ingrained into your values, and really gives you the satisfaction and the fulfillment that you want out of life. Because at the end of the day, it's about fulfillment, isn't it? And we'll see that shortly. Right, earning well versus living well. It's a paradox, isn't it? I mean, we all want to earn more. We all want to have more in life. We all want the beauties of life, the what life brings. Steve was talking about having a Lamborghini and having a big mansion and having a good life and having, being able to afford all these great luxuries of life. Yes, earning well is really important, but then we have to balance that against living well. And I think a lot of people have been caught into that trap, that in chasing greater earnings, we've ended up sacrificing the quality of life that we live, the quality of relationships that we have, the quality of the time that we spend. And as a result, we end up into this huge frustration. I wrote in a comment there, when Steve was talking about having a Lamborghini, and I said, you could actually be a miserable Lamborghini owner. You have a Lamborghini, but you're still living a miserable life. So we need to strike that balance, between earning and living. And the same can be said about wealth and happiness. Are we in pursuit for wealth, or are we in pursuit for happiness? That's the question we need to keep asking ourselves every day. And to ask ourselves, is what I'm doing, is it really bringing fulfillment in my life? Is it really bringing happiness in my life? Because I think that's really important. And that's why I think Jim Rohn put that as the last piece of the puzzle, that we have to really question whether everything that we're doing, whether to do with our philosophy, to do with our attitude, to do with our activity, to do with our results, does it bring fulfillment in our life? I think that's an important question to keep asking ourselves every morning when we wake up. But this is the important bit, that you can start living life in your own terms, regardless of your income. I think so many times we have fooled ourselves, thinking that if only I could earn a little bit more, I'll be happier. If only I could be, I could achieve such and such milestones, then I would start to enjoy my life. Then I would start to live. Then I would start to have nice holidays and spend more time with my family. We almost think that in my current situation, I can't enjoy life. I have to be somewhere to enjoy life. The truth of the matter is, the person in the place where you want to be is probably saying exactly what you're saying. That, if only I could be like such and such, then I'll start enjoying life. So forget about all that. I mean, yes, we are still in pursuit of our dreams, yes, but you can start enjoying life. You can start living life in your own terms, wherever you are, in whatever sort of income bracket you are in at the moment. You can make that choice. It's a choice. It's a design, like I said previously. Right, now let's talk a little bit about the art of fulfillment. I was listening to this guy. He's called Tony Robbins, Anthony Robbins. I love Anthony Robbins. And he was, I mean, he's one of the personal development gurus. And over the years, he's been talking about success and about, achieving greatness and doing this and going big and striving for this and that and going through it all and all that stuff. But I don't know whether it's age, whether it's experience. If you listen to Anthony Robbins now, his tone has changed ever so slightly. And his focus now is not so much into success per se and accumulation of wealth and being this great. It's gone more towards the area of fulfillment. That as you're pushing yourself to succeed, you have to focus on that, on being fulfilled in your life. And he says the extraordinary life is about living your life in your own terms, as I said earlier. And the question you need to ask yourself is that are you dancing in your own to your own tune, or are you dancing to someone else's tune? Because sometimes when we are chasing success, we may find ourselves dancing into other people's tunes. You have to do everything that everybody else expects you to do. You have to live a life the way people expect you to live. People expect you to have this amount of success. People expect you to have this amount of money, to have this amount of prosperity, to have achieved this, that, and the other. And you become so frustrated because you're not actually living a life that you want, but because you're living to other people's expectations. So those are the questions we need to ask ourselves. So what is extraordinary life? Now, extraordinary life combines two things. The first thing is the science of achievement. That's what Stephen was talking about. Stephen ended up in saying that success is a formula. It's a formula. I mean, all you have to do is to work the formula. If you don't work the formula, you don't get the results. The problem is not the formula. The problem is that we don't work the formula well enough. So success is just a science. It's science of achievement, and that is universal. Anybody can do exactly, follow the same principles, the same formula, and you'll get success. And we spend a lot of time in our sessions talking about that success formula. And I believe you've been getting points from it and really getting tools that can help you break those barriers and really pushing out for your dreams. But there is something more to that. Success, extraordinary life, is also the art of fulfillment. And this is what I'm talking about. And fulfillment is very unique. It's very unique to you. What is fulfillment to you is not what it is to somebody else. Emeka had put a comment earlier and said that success is very personal. Success is defined differently with different people. It's true, but when you speak of it in that sense, you're talking about fulfillment there. When do you say that I'm successful? You say you're successful when your achievements bring happiness to you, when they bring satisfaction to you, when they bring fulfillment to you. That's when you say, I am successful. And that's what lifestyle is all about. If you become so successful, but your lifestyle is so messed up that you don't get the fulfillment, you don't get the satisfaction, then it means absolutely nothing. And that's what lifestyle is all about. Another thing that is really important is achieving life balance. Lifestyle is all about achieving balance. It's that balance that brings happiness. Steve spoke about the wheel of life, the business, the finance, the family, the relationships, your spiritual aspect of things, your mental health, your physical health. That whole wheel, you need to be able to get the balance right to live better, to have a better life. You need to get that balance right. And lifestyle is all about getting that balance right. Having a good balance about your health, having a good balance about the relationships with your family, having a good balance with your relationship with your friends, about your faith. How much time do you devote to that? How much time do you devote to your business and work? Is it enough time to give you the returns that you need for your success? Is it too much? Because sometimes it could be too much. You might be working too hard, and that ends up eating on the time you should have spent with your family, time you should have spent with your friends even. So getting that balance right is the key to a happy life. So it's very important to not neglect some of those areas of your life, the relationships of your life, the health of your life, your physical fitness of your life, your business probably is any area of your life that you feel like you've been neglecting. It's very important to bring it up to speed, because that balance is what will bring lasting rewards to life, basically. Now, quickly, happiness is a choice. Okay, happiness is not something that just comes up automatically. Happiness is what you choose. You can choose today to be happy. You can choose today to be in a beautiful state. That's what Tony Robbins said. We are survival creatures as humans. We are creatures of instinct. We survive by instinct. If you put me in a corner and I have to do something, I will do it, because instinctively I have to survive. That's what we are. But unfortunately, we cannot thrive by instinct, because we are not geared that way. Humans are instinctively survival beings. But then to thrive, they have to do that by design. You have to actively take a step. You have to step out of your comfort zone to start thriving, to start enjoying life. And happiness is exactly the same thing. Unless you actually plan for your happiness, you cannot be happy. Happiness doesn't come automatically. And I mean, if your plan for happiness is to go through the day with the fingers crossed, hoping that things will turn out great, trust me, you'll end up having more miserable life, more miserable days than good ones. If you want to have a great day, then from the set go in the morning when you wake up, you have to plan for it. You have to plan that, right, today I want to have a great day. What do I need to have a great day? What things do I have to do today that are going to make me happy? What things will bring fulfillment to me? And set out from the word go in pursuing those things. Because if you don't do that, then happiness will always elude you and you'll always wonder why. So questions you need to ask yourself. How important is happiness to you? How does that fit into your daily agenda? If happiness is really important to you, how does it fit to your daily agenda? That's what I was asking. When you wake up in the morning, do you set your agenda to be happy? Do you set your agenda to find fulfillment? Do you actively pursue it, or do you just leave it to chance? Those are the questions I leave for you to ponder. Another thing, happiness is a study, right? Now, this is really important. Why is it really important? Because happiness is unique. Because fulfillment is unique. You have to find what makes you tick. Okay, though it was rhyming there for a minute, isn't it? Fulfillment is unique. You need to find what makes you tick. I could be a poet now. But you see what I mean? But it's very important to find what makes you tick in your life, what really brings fulfillment to you, because that is very unique to you. I cannot tell you what will fulfill your life. I cannot do that. You have to find that out for yourself. So it's very important to ask yourself important questions. What makes me happy? What is it that makes me happy? What is it? Sorry, I skipped there for a second. What is it that makes me happy? What question I'm asking you, do you really know? Do you know what really makes you happy? Do you have a list of your most fulfilling things in your life? If I ask you now, what are the most fulfilling things in your life? Do you know that? It's very important to ask yourself those questions, because once you know that, then you can set your agenda to fulfill those things. You can set your agenda to chip into those things as you continue to chase your dream. Is it spending time with your friends and family? If so, then how much time do you set aside to spend with your friends and family? Is it sightseeing? If that's what makes you tick, then how much time do you spend? How much time do you set in your waking week to do sightseeing? I mean, you might say, I don't have the time, I don't have the money, I can't go on holiday. There are lots of great local areas just around you, I'm sure, that you can spend time to go around and really enjoy, and spend time out there and enjoy the sunset, It's free of charge. You don't need to pay for that. You know, you can go around in the woods. I mean, in the UK, we are blessed with great trails and tracks where you can just go around for free and enjoy sightseeing. If that's what makes you tick, then what is it stopping you from doing that and having that as your daily agenda? Because you need that fulfillment in your life. If it's traveling, the same. You know, what's stopping you from traveling? I mean, I remember I used to do a lot of. I'm not doing that as much now, but I used to do a lot with my family, just going for a drive. You know, we just get in the car and we just go around for a drive. You know, we go around into places, look at people's houses, look at the streets, and we just enjoy sightseeing. And so we didn't have to wait until when you're on holiday and go around. We just go for a drive, you know, because that brought so much satisfaction out of us. That brought so much fulfillment. And so we incorporated that into our daily agenda. Is it charitable endeavors? Do you get so much satisfaction when you help someone, when you become of value to others, you know? And if that's the case, then why don't you put that in your daily agenda? Why don't you put that in your weekly plan? That every week I have to make sure that I make a difference on someone else's life, because that brings fulfillment into my life. So lifestyle is about finding new ways to bring joy, pleasure, excitement, and substance into our lives while we are working on our goals, okay? So it's not about waiting until we've accomplished our goals, then we can have a lifestyle. No, it's about finding new ways to bring that joy. It's about being creative about the circumstances that you have to really get the best out of life. So it's about being creative, right? The art of being present. We've talked about this many times. You know, we live in the now. You will always live in the now. We learn from the past. Steve has spoken about that, and it's very important to learn from the past. We plan for the future, but we have to remember that we are living in the present, and we will always live in the present. So sometimes don't allow your future to overshadow your present. Don't allow your past to overshadow your present. Always live in the present. Soak in the present. Get the memories of now. Learn to really get out of the present. You know, commit to pleasure just as much as you commit to work. You know what I mean? Sometimes we feel guilty about enjoying life. You know, we feel guilty about having fun. You know, we just want to work. But then what are we working for? And someone says, oh, I'm working for my future. And the question is, who's going to live in that future? Because you're never going to live in the future. You always live in the present. That future has to be present before you enjoy it. So present is the most important time for you. So as you strive to create that future, you need to live the present and really enjoy that. So what's my advice for you? Don't play at work. When you're working, work. And also, just as much, don't work while you're playing. You know, if you're having fun, then mean it. If you come home and you're spending time with your family, then spend time with your family. Stop scrolling on your mobile phone while you're spending time with your family. You know, someone was telling me that she went on a holiday and she took her laptop with her, and she spent most of that time working. You know, and I was like, why would you do that? And she said, because I've got so much to do, I can't afford to take a week off and not do my work. And well, I thought that's really sad because if you can't plan your life well enough to take a week off from your work, then something is wrong somewhere. Because at the end of the day, it comes down to good planning. If you didn't plan well, then that's definitely going to happen. Inevitably, you'll come home and you'll still need to work at home. Or you go on holiday and you'll still have to work on holiday. Why? Because you didn't plan it well. So the most important thing is you really need to plan. But just as much, be open to new experiences. You know, the art of being present, you have to be willing to experience new things. You know, the problem sometimes, if you're not careful, you end up into this autopilot. You end up doing the same things all the time. You don't want to venture into new things. And as a result, your fulfillment becomes really limited. Why? Because you've not allowed yourself to experience new things. You know, sometimes I venture out into doing things that I've never done before, and I'm like, wow, I didn't know that there is these things to life. You know, there is these things to enjoy. And sometimes you just need to venture out there and really try and get yourselves to to try new things in life, because you don't know what you might find out there that might really bring fulfillment in your life, might really bring joy in your life, or it might really bring make a difference in your life. So finally, I just have a few tips that I just want to share with you on lifestyle. Really quickly, I think this is my last slide. Invest more quality time with your family. And the key word there is quality. Spend time with them. Engage with them. Hear what your kids are saying. Enjoy their sense of humor. Enjoy what they're doing. Take part in the activities that they do. Be there. Don't just be there physically in the space, but be there emotionally. Be there, mentally. Get engaged. Get in. Be present. That's what it's all about. So invest more time, more quality time with your family. The second one is very similar to that. Invest more in relationships and friendships. What I've realized in my personal life is that I really enjoy being in the presence of my friends. I really enjoy building relationships and having time, because I love to talk. I love sharing stuff. So I love being in the presence of people. So the question I always ask myself is, how can I develop these relationships? How can I find ways to spend more time with people? So what I tend to do now is I start looking for my friends. I start creating appointments with them and try to spend more time with them. I start creating activities that I could spend with my friends. I say, like, hey, Stephen, can we go for a walk? Can we do this? Because I want to do that, because I know that these relationships bring fulfillment to me. These friendships mean a lot to me. These times are the times where I'm the happiest, when I'm spending these times with them. So why don't I actually make that my primary agenda, to put them in my waking week, in my waking day, in my waking month, so that really, rather than waiting it to happen by chance, once every blue moon, I end up having this every week. For instance, every week I have time to spend at least an hour with one of my friends. Either we go for a walk, or we go for a run, or we just do this or the other. I do that, and I'm doing that deliberately. Why? Because that brings a lot of fulfillment to me, and that is important to me. So it's very important to really invest more time in the relationship and friendships, because they bring so much joy in our lives. Third one is find time for a hobby and make it a priority. This is something we don't really do. You have to find a hobby. You have to find that thing that really makes you tick. And once you found it, make it a priority to do it. Because the problem is, you might ask someone, do you have a hobby? And say, yeah, I do have a hobby. What's your hobby? This is my hobby. How often do you practice your hobby? No answer. Why? Because we didn't make it a priority. We didn't set time for it. If my hobby is playing football, then what do? I look for people that love football. There are lots of people that play football once a week, once a month, whatever. I join those teams. I play with them. For instance, there was a club that I used to play football with. They do it every week, every Wednesday. Unfortunately, the place that we used to go, the venue that we used to go, got shut down with the lockdown, so we stopped doing that. But I used to do that every week, and probably this April we might start doing it again. Why? Because I love playing football, and that both allows me to do exercises. It allows me to do an activity that I like, but also it allows me to create friendships, to create the relationships, and spend time with people, and really build that as well. So it's very important to actually make that a priority and go for it. Another thing is, make lifestyle a goal. People have lots of goals. If you ask someone, what are your goals? More often than not, people will talk about their career ambitions. They will talk about their family ambitions. They will talk about their business ambitions. They will talk about all those things. Very rarely people will talk about their lifestyle as their goal, as this is how I want to live my life. This is how I want to spend time. This is how I want to enjoy life. Very rarely people will do that. Why? Because we always live lifestyle as the last thing, like I said at the beginning. So it's very important to set lifestyle goals. They can be short-term goals, they can be medium-term goals, they can be long-term goals. For instance, right now, I'm starting to think about when I retire, how do I want to live my life? How do I want my life to be like when I retire? What sort of things do I want to be able to do? And why? Why is it important for me to think about that now? Because I might have to start adjusting my life now to be able to live well when I retire. I can't say now that, I want to be traveling a lot when I retire, or I want to do a lot of trekking or mountain climbing when I retire. And if I start neglecting my health right now, if I start neglecting my health now, come the time when I retire, probably I won't have the energy to do the things I want to do there. So thinking of your lifestyle, short term, medium term, and long term is very important, because it allows you to adjust yourself to be able to achieve those lifestyle goals. And finally, have regular moments of reflection. It's very important to reflect on your life, to reflect and think, right, I've lived today. What have I got out of today? What are the things that brought so much joy? What are the things that brought so much fulfillment in my life? Because when you do that, when you reflect on those things, it will tell you what areas you need to expand in your life and what areas you probably need to restrict in your life. I've had moments of reflection where I've sat down and reflected on my day or my week, and I've realized that there are things that I've been doing that were really messing me up. They were really messing up with my psyche, messing up with my feelings, messing up with the way I feel. And after realizing, I realized that I really need to restrict these things. I really need to bring these things to a minimum. Probably I need to stop these things altogether. Why? Because once you reflect, it tells you what you need to do more in your lifestyle and what you need to stop. And it really helps you focus on those things that bring fulfillment in your life. Journaling is really important, because when you're journaling, when you're writing things down, it slows down your thinking process and it allows you to really reflect on the things that has happened in your life. So it's very important to allow your experiences to speak to you, because once you do that, your lifestyle will start to change and it will start to reflect more into your values, and it will start bringing more fulfillment in your life. Having said that, that's the end of my presentation. And I do apologize, guys. We are way past our time, but I hope the time that we've spent and the conversation that we've had has added value to you. Before we wind up, I would allow 2 or 3 contributions really quick, and then we will call it a day. Yeah. So anybody?
Can I just
jump in?
Because of trauma. Go on. I just wanted to say, from trauma perspective, what you've said, I want to cry, because it's not taught a lot in the African culture. I'm sat here feeling like I want a room full of ethnic people to hear this. I work a lot with people who are traumatized. You're the sum of your lifestyle, guys, because your body reacts to your lifestyle. If your lifestyle is wishy-washy, you won't have that career. A lot of sicknesses that ethnic people are getting is down to lifestyle. Their health, their wealth, the amount of stress, anxiety they're putting through their body. There's so much trauma that people are transmitting in their bodies and in their families to their children because of the lifestyle they're leading. So for me, I don't know how we're going to get the message out there that we are the sum of our lifestyles. A lot of ethnic trauma is located to lifestyle, and it's sad. People are dying, children are getting depression, children are committing suicides just because of lifestyle. That's 1. 2, when you're talking about the present and the past, we come from Africa, we come here. A lot of the extended trauma we're giving to our children is because we are unwilling to live in the present. So we're living so much in the past, what happened in the past, and then we are planning so much for the future, and our children are missing out in the present. Our families are missing. And you as a person, a lot of the adults I work with who've got trauma, who get anxiety and who are doing this from ethnic families, is because they're either living in the past, things that happened in the past, or there's so much in the future that it's giving their mind chaos. So for me, those 2 messages: being in the present, you're not a sum of your past circumstances, you're not a sum of your future. You need to come here. I'm speaking like this just because of the amount of dissonance it's creating to the children and the effect it's having on young people in their families. So please take the message out there. we've just kind of lost a young person on suicide this week. And that was a result. The family didn't even know he was going through this. So it's starting to be a problem with our children and our families. I just thought I'd put it in there. So for me, Charles, this is kind of, it's like, woo, I've been sent here today for the right message. Like, it's kind of put a thing in me that go out there and do a program on this and get these people to be heard.
Wow. That's amazing. Very, very, very nice. Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, well, we don't know. We just do a program. So, you know, at times you don't know how much value these things are because, well, it is what it is. And yeah, you know, it's fascinating. Thank you.
Yeah. Sorry, can I add something?
Go for it, Emeka.
Yeah. In lifestyle tips, one thing that stood out for me was find time for a hobby and make it a priority. One of my hobbies I enjoy doing is like I enjoy creative writing. That's one thing because I would say that's one thing that gives me a bit of happiness when I'm able to create something. Charles, I know you get some things I write.
I do, yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's one thing that makes me happy. If the only time I don't know how to explain, but there are times whereby I might have writer's block. I might have writer's block. I'm able to create something. But for me, that's one thing. When I'm able to write what I'm feeling, I'm able to put everything on paper from a deep perspective. That's one thing that gives me a bit of happiness. At least one thing.
Yeah, that's what I was saying, that when it comes to the art of fulfillment, it's very unique, isn't it? Everybody, we all have different things that make us tick, and that's what you need to find out. We really need, that's why I said lifestyle and happiness is a study. You have to really study yourself. You have to really look within and ask yourself questions. What are the things that really bring fulfillment in my life? And you'll be amazed. You'll be amazed that there is so much garbage that you've accumulated over the years, the things that occupy so much of your time and your attention, that they're absolutely meaningless to you because they're not, you're just doing them because they're habits that you've created over the years or expectations based on what other people want of you. But they don't bring that fulfillment to you. If anything, they just add frustration. So yeah, so like what you're saying, Emeka, if creative writing is what brings fulfillment to you, then the next question you need to ask yourself is, how do I incorporate this? And this is the key thing. How do I incorporate this into my daily agenda? You know, how do I find time for this? How do I make this part? Because unless you find fulfillment in your life, then anything else you're chasing is meaningless. You know, like King Solomon said, you know, in his old age, you know, this wise and great king, rich and all, and it's all nonsense. It's all what's the word he used? Bible readers.
It's all in vain.
Vanity.
It's all vanity.
Vanity,
Exactly.
yes.
It's all vanity. Why? Because if it didn't bring that fulfillment, if it didn't bring that satisfaction, if it didn't bring that sense of purpose and that you, like what you're saying, Emeka, that sense of feeling that you've made a difference, feeling that really I've made this time count. You know what I mean? So yeah. So that's what lifestyle is all about. Yeah. If I invite one other person before we wind up, please, because we're kind of running out of time.
Yes, Charles. Yeah, I just
Thank
wanted to say something.
Go on.
Can everybody hear me? Oh,
Yeah, we
hello?
can hear you. We can hear you, Paul. Go on.
We hear you, Paul.
All
Yes.
right. Yeah. Yeah. First of all, thank you so much, guys, for nice presentation, both of you. It was really nice. I just wanted to say something which I think resonates with what Charles said. In terms of leadership, Maxwell said that the hardest thing he has ever learned in his life is self-leadership. I think it's really in line with what Charles said, that at times it's quite difficult to lead yourself, you know, to decide what kind of lifestyle you want and to lead yourself towards that. It's easier sometimes to tell others and, you know, to sometimes even to talk, but you have to make sure that you have set the way you want to live and lead yourself. Because if you can lead yourself, it's easy to lead others. And one more thing I want to say as well is sometimes we think we can save the world ourselves. You know, you want to do everything. You want to solve every problem. And I think that sometimes brings a lot of stress to our bodies. And, you know, you think you can do everything, but we are not designed. Even God has not designed us that way. There is something specific God has designed you to do. So I think is find that, do that, and then enjoy life. Somebody else will do something else. But I think most of the time, especially we people who come from Africa, as one of my sisters there say, we have got issues here, we have got issues back home. We don't live the present life. We want to, you know, we say probably one day we'll go home, so we want to save, you know. So there are a lot of things, you know, and we fail to enjoy life. The point you're getting to 60, you realize that you have not lived, you know. You might build your mansions there, and then they're just taking your body there before they bury you. You know, so I think it's very important to enjoy the present, set the sail of your life, lead yourself, do what you are designed to do, leave the rest for others to do, because you cannot save the world by yourself. Thank you, Charles.
Right. Thank you, Paul. So at age 60, you realize you existed. You didn't live. So sad.
That's really powerful, Paul. That's really powerful. Guys, I wish we could sit here and talk for the rest of the evening, because the conversation we're having right now, I think it's very important, and the conversation that we don't often have. And I think we need to have more of these kind of conversations. How we can get the best out of what we already have, because that's what this is all about. That as we are striving to get more and more, become more, how can we make the best of what we already have, and really get the fulfillment and live life to the fullest, if you like. And this is what these conversations are all about. But because of time, we have to end here, guys. Thank you so much for all your contributions. Thank you so much for the chats. The chats have been really great. I've been perusing the chats, and people have been chatting away all their ideas and comments and excitements and all this stuff, which is really good, because it's all about engagement, and it's all about raising the conversation and really challenging us to take this conversation out there, that this conversation may not just end up in this forum, in this platform. Take this conversation with your loved ones. Take this conversation with your friends. Take this conversation to other platforms and other forums that you have, because that way is how we raise the awareness and raise this conversation, really challenge ourselves to do better, to be better, to live better. So having said that, thank you very much, and I wish you a great and a blessed weekend. Hope to see you again in a couple of weeks' time, and God bless you guys.